Welcome back, sports fans. Today we're doing I had to tow a guy out of the wash last night, so I'm going to show you what to look for in a wash and what to stay away from, and just show you some of the stuff that's on this desert that'll make you it's not as easy as you think it is.
From diesel or gas pacers to rocket-powered racers, nomads, go-mads, RVs, schoolies, turn it, tweak it, tune it, fix it so smoothly. That's why he's Badge. Everybody needs one.
So here we are. This is on a main part of the desert here, as you can see. Now, when you're looking for a spot, make sure that it's got rocks. Now, the thing about the desert is when you break through, it turns into sand. Now, when you're looking up the edge, you'll see all the bushes, right? Wherever the bushes are, stay out of there. Unless you go and check and it's like this, the rocks in it. Because the rocks give it a little bit of strength, right? Other than that, you can't. Now, here's a prime example. The poor guy pulled his trailer through here. Now, that is just about 60 feet of sand. Now, wherever where the Dodge is, that's where it's hard. But he come in here and he got it stuck about halfway through. And then what we had to do was get it all the way out. Now, the problem was when you get in here, this stuff is just dust. It turns to dust. So you have to make sure that you walk the area and check it out and make sure that it's hard. If you can walk across there and your shoes make a mark, the chances are you want to stay away from it. So that was the thing. Now, usually what I do is I try to take them back the same way they came in. But we were closer there to go out because he had the hitch of the trailer was right here. Right here. So he had, that was like, probably 30 feet. But back here, we had another 45 feet to go. So it was easier to pull him out the front than it was to pull them backwards, right? So that's what we do. But that's the thing with washes. You got to stay out of the sand. Like, don't go in the sand unless it's like a major necessity. Because the sand, like even here where it's all hard, as soon as you break through and get in there, it turns to sand. But it's hard right now. But you have to watch that. If it's in a wash, stay out of the sand because it'll go away real quick, like real quick. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of that. A lot of people don't know about these washes, but the big thing about the washes, now if you do a wash and you see a road going through there, get out and check it. Just don't take it for granted. It's good because it could have rained before that and turns it into dust, right? So you just have to check that and make sure that it is hard. You can cross the sand, but it has to be packed down. So that's just something you have to keep in mind. And yeah, stay out of the sand. Okay, now here's one of them ones I was telling you about. This is a little harder one. Now the trick to this is that it's hard right here. You have good gravel right here, and we're probably 20 feet, and you go in through here, and you see how soft it is here, okay? And you see it gets right through the wash. So there's a bump here, like a divot, and then you go in, and now you have to make it all the way to there before you're in the good ground. So when you start there, right there, this is probably 40 feet. When you start this driving through here, what you do is you do not stop. When you start driving on the sand, you keep going and do not stop. When you start it, you finish it. You don't stop halfway in between because you're done. You'll see the little pathways going through here, all the way down, and you go through a pathway. Now, you can drive across the desert, but this is something you got to be very, very careful of. The rocks, right? You're driving along, and that's just a pile of rocks. Look what's in it. That's what you want to watch out for. So don't be driving over fire rings. And everybody seems to make their own, so be very, very careful. And you want to take and put a brand new set of tires on your truck. And I'll tell you, you can kick the living daylights out of them. Look at this, look at the edges on that baby. And that's what you're driving over. And these babies are sharp. When they go underneath your tire, they come out exactly the same size. Here's a good prime example. You slip off the path, and there's a ditch right there, going right down. And if you get stuck in that, that's a lot of digging. So yeah, and you see all these rocks? That's caused by when it rains, the rain will run down the road, is what it does. And then it comes down here, and then it runs down the ditches as a wash, right? Now that's a wash down there, and you do not park in washes. I'm sorry, you just don't do it. I just thought it's something to, like, especially if you're not in Arizona, you won't see this stuff. So it's kind of interesting, but the thing you got to remember is the sand that looks like it's hard, when you drive on it, it turns to dust. And that's the biggest thing you got to remember. Like over on this side, we don't have washes that are, well, that there, you can't drive through that at all. I don't even care if you got a four-wheel drive. But these ones here, there's little washes here with, 4 or 5 feet of sand. The thing about sand is if you have to go through it, you start, you don't stop. You go right through it. Don't stop. So I hope you get something out of it. If you got any questions, just put it down below and we'll answer them.
Veg, lunch. Oh, you gotta wash your hands before you come in.
Salad? That's not lunch.
Badge. Everybody needs one. We love our badge. And just remember, he's not asking.